All right, let's go over how to create a custom brush. So brushes are pretty simple. You just have to make whatever you want to make, select it, and turn it into a brush. So I'm in Photopea here. I'm just going to make a square. Whatever size you make your brush is the number that shows up under the brush over here. So when you see a number under the brushes, that's actually the size of the brush, not like the number of the brush. And I have mine showing thumbnails, but I can put it back the other way here so you can see. So that's what those numbers are. They're not like a special number that means anything. That means they're the size that you see there. So whatever size you make your brush now is what it will show up over there. Okay, simply do this. I always say to just get rid of the background layer. So make a new layer and ditch your background. We're going to make our brush on a transparent layer. Then you just grab whatever you want. I usually start with the mechanical pencil brushes in Photopea. It's kind of hard to tell. It's just your plain brushes, hard mechanical pencil. Now you could do it soft, but you're going to have a fuzzy brush if you do. I usually draw them pretty big, and then I'll make them smaller later. So let's say I want to make this weird, crazy, funky brush. There we go. There it is. All right. Once you brush it on, all you have to do is press Control, click over here. That puts marching ants on your brush. And then you go to Edit, Define New, and Brush. And it will say Brush Added. And notice my mouse actually just changed to that brush. So if I Control D to make my marching ants go away, and make a new layer and delete the old one, there's my brush. And I can just take my mouse and make it little, and then use it and draw crazy stuff. Look at that. Woo, crazy business. Isn't that fun? And then it shows up on the bottom of your list. So it's way down here on the bottom, custom brush. That's in Photopea. Now, if you did have multiple things, so like maybe you used letters or shapes, I don't know why you would do that for a brush necessarily, but maybe you use some shapes, you would need to merge them all into one layer first, and then you just control click. But whatever you've control clicked, whatever shape those marching ants are in, that's what it will use for the brush. All right, I'll do it in Photoshop. I've drawn a brain looking thing here in Photoshop and already turned it into a brush just so you can see what it looks like. So I called it Brainy Bob over here. And then you can see I got my little brain. I'll make a new layer here and make it a different color just so we can see it nice and good. And then here's my little brain brush. So there you go. If you just click it once, of course, you see all the detail of it. But if you click and drag, like you usually do with brushes, then you can see what that looks like, okay? So that's an example of that. And again, in Photoshop, you need to make sure they're on their own layers and that you're only control clicking that one thing whenever you're making it. So let me turn off these layers for a second. I'll make a new layer. Actually, how about here, I'll make a shape. So let me maybe start with a custom shape here. So I'll just go in here and grab one of these things in here. Get out of those little things. Here, I'll take this blob. So let's say here's my blob. Okay. And then maybe I'll paint some stuff to add to my blob. So let me make another layer. I'll use my little brain thing here and we'll be like, woo, crazy looking brush. Okay, that's something. All right, then you've got to merge everything together. Remember, Photoshop doesn't play very well unless things are the same. So I'm just going to rasterize this shape layer. So they're both rasterized layers. And then I will Control and click so they're both selected, merge them into one, merge layers, okay? And now Control click so the marching ants are over here, and then Edit, and then Define Brush, and that's what it's called in here. And then you give it a name. I'll say Blobby Thing, hit OK. Now, if I turn that layer off and make a new layer and press Control D to get rid of my marching ants, I should have a nice blobby thing brush. How about that? Oh, look. You know why my brush is see-through? Because I didn't make it black. Never a good thing. Let's come back in here and I will Control click to start that again. Turn it back on and fill it in with my paint bucket. So I'll grab my paint bucket, put black on top here, fill that in with paint, All right, now we got it. Let's go for this one more time. Edit, define brush preset. Here we go. That one looks a little bit better. Blobby 2. Turn it off. Let's turn this other layer back on so we can kind of see what's going on here. Press Control D. Here we go. There's my good solid brush. Or I can pick my red, and there we are. So remember to make sure it's black, and then it's just a matter of getting that all in a black area. So whatever your marching ants are, get it in a black area and go to define. Simple.